Good afternoon. So today we will teach you about liver, pathology of liver. Now before discussing it, just some recapitulation of the anatomy. Do you know what is the histopathological structure of liver? Yes, it is a lobular architecture. In the center of the lobule is the central vein, and from the central vein radiating spoke-like hepatocytes are going into the periphery, and in the periphery, so it will appear like an hexagonal, and in the periphery there will be the portal tract which contain the branches of hepatic artery, tributaries of portal vein, and also bile duct. So the area which is closer to the portal triad gets better blood supply. The area which is closer to the hepatic vein gets less blood supply. So this is the typical lobular architecture of liver. Now this architecture can be, usually there is little fibrosis in the liver. Now the first topic that will come into discussion is cirrhosis. What is cirrhosis of liver? Cirrhosis of liver is a end stage liver disorder where there will be extensive fibrosis in almost all parts of the liver with destruction of the normal lobular architecture along with formation of multiple regenerating nodules. So the components are: number one, there will be destruction of the normal lobular architecture. Number two, there will be extensive fibrosis. And number three, there will be regenerative production of the regenerating nodules. And these nodules do not have the typical normal architecture of liver. So what will be the gross appearance of liver? The liver will be in the initial stage, it will be increased in size, but later on due to fibrosis the size of the liver can be reduced. There will be presence of multiple nodules both in the surface as well as in the cut surface. These nodules are of varying size. So that is and the margins are very sharp. So liver will be shrunken, sharp margin with presence of multiple surface and also parenchymal nodules. This is the typical gross appearance. And depending upon the size of the nodule, cirrhosis can be divided into micronodular and macronodular. When the nodules are less than 3 micron in diameter, then it is called a micronodular cirrhosis. It is predominantly seen in case of alcoholic cirrhosis. And when the nodules are larger than that, then it is called macronodular cirrhosis. And this macronodular cirrhosis is seen predominant in the post-necrotic cirrhosis. Okay. Now this is a classification of the cirrhosis depending upon the size of the nodule. There is also another classification which is depending upon the etiology. So etiological classification of cirrhosis, it depends upon two. Number one are the common etiological factors, and number two are the rare etiological causes. What are the common etiological factors? First is alcoholic cirrhosis. This is the commonest cause of cirrhosis in the worldwide, and in European countries more than 2/3 to 3/4 of the cases occur as a result of this cirrhosis. Overall, more than 50% cases of cirrhosis occur as a result of alcoholism. The next is post-necrotic or viral hepatitis. Infection by viruses can give rise to necrosis as well as cirrhosis. Number 3 are biliary cirrhosis. In biliary cirrhosis, there will be obstruction to the bile outflow either within the hepatocytes, intrahepatic, or outside the hepatocytes, that is extrahepatic, that will give rise to ultimately hepatocyte destruction and cirrhosis. And number 4 is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. In these cases, due to obesity, diabetes mellitus, or hyperglycemia, and also due to type A personality, there will be accumulation of fat in the liver with liver cell destruction, and gradually there can be cirrhotic changes. And the last one is hemochromatosis. So these are the relatively common causes of cirrhosis. So first is alcoholic cirrhosis, then viral hepatitis, then or post-necrotic cirrhosis, then biliary cirrhosis, then non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and finally hemochromatosis. The other rare causes include Wilson's disease, primary biliary cirrhosis, and also ascending cholangitis, and also the galactosemia, and different rare, and also glycogenolysis. So these things also can, and cardiac cirrhosis, these things also can give rise to cirrhosis, but these are the rare. Now what will be the histopathological changes? If you do a histopathological change, what you will see that there will be extensive destruction of the hepatic parenchymal cells, and there will be loss of lobular architecture. The lobules are replaced by thick bands of fibrosis that are distributed at all parts of the liver. And in between these thick bands, there will be formation of regenerating nodules of hepatocytes, which shows mild to moderate features of dysplasia and which do not show the typical lobular architecture. So the important thing is, another is what will be the clinical features. The clinical features, there will be some features due to portal hypertension. Why there will be portal hypertension in cirrhosis? Normally, the portal vein along with the splenic vein, the portal vein is formed by the mesenteric veins and splenic veins. So these two veins will join together and they will form the portal vein, and then it will enter inside the liver and will be divided into tributaries. Now when there will be destruction of the hepatic architecture, then there will be fibrosis. That fibrosis can block the vasculature inside the liver, and also as a result of necrosis there can be destruction of the vasculature. So all these things will give rise to obstruction to the portal outflow, so there will be portal hypertension. Now what will be the features of this portal hypertension? The spleen will become hugely enlarged in size, so there will be huge phenomena. Then there will be accumulation of fluid in the peritoneal cavity, which is known as ascites. More than 500 ml of fluid should be collected in the peritoneal cavity for clinical detection of ascites. Then there will be abnormal portosystemic connection. Normally in our body there are multiple areas like esophagus, like stomach, like the lower part of the rectum and also anal canal, where there is presence of systemic and portal connections. Now as the pressure of the systemic veins is very high, so these connections will remain closed. But when, as a result of portal hypertension, when there will be increase in the portal pressure, these connections may get open and there will be the portal blood will then flow towards the systemic blood, and then as a result of this there will be dilation of the blood vessels which can give rise to hemorrhage. The common hemorrhagic sites are esophageal, they will form esophageal varix as well as in the lower part of the GI tract. And finally, the metabolic function of the liver is lost, so there will be increase in the estrogen level, and that increased estrogen level can give rise to gynecomastia in case of male, and it can also give rise to dilated vascular channels prominence over the skin, which is known as spider angioma. And there can be also hepatorenal syndrome, in which the kidney function will be low, hepatopulmonary syndrome, in which there will be gradually lower function of the lungs, and there can be also hepatic encephalopathy, where there will be abnormal brain function. Then what are the complications? The complications of cirrhosis, there will be bleeding, there will be different important organ failures, and also there will be future malignancy. So these are the complications. This is in short the ascites. The other topics which are important are the tumors. The liver, the benign tumors of liver are called hepatocellular adenoma or hepatic adenoma. But these are rare tumors and can be accompanied with OCT lesions. But the hepatocellular carcinoma is the commonest type of cancer that occurs in the case of adults, usually over the age of 50 to 60 years, and there will be increase in the blood level of alpha fetoprotein. But the main tumor of the liver is secondary. A lot of tumors from different organs like GI tract, like kidney, which are blood-borne, they will reach the liver and will cause metastasis. And hepatoblastoma is a tumor which occurs in earlier age group in case of children. And hepatic abscess can be bacterial, where it will be multiple, small, or can be parasitic, that is amoebic liver abscess, where it will be usually large, single, and it